This is the limestone lowdown. Hear the sound when you lie to the issues all around. From every corner, let's make it clear. The change we need is starting here.
Hi everybody, welcome to the latest episode of the Limestone Lowdown. Today we're going to cover the September 2nd, 2025 City Council meeting, which was basically just the tally of the votes. Because guess what, guys, if you didn't know, well, maybe a lot of people didn't know, considering the low turnout, that we had an election.
Yeah, election August 26th, and they did the tallying of the votes. I mean, honestly, there was no surprise there on how any of the votes turned out. One thing that I was really surprised at was the low number of votes.
Well, that's what I was getting at. We were 33,000 people, and how many voted?
Like 4,200.
Woo!
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad, yeah.
I guess nobody was listening. That local government affects you more than anything else.
Yeah.
So
I mean, even for a presidential election, you get about 25. Not even, you don't normally get 50%, do you?
No, it just depends.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's generally higher than that.
Yeah, I think it's out of kind of standard is like 25%, which in this case would have been close to 10,000, but not 10,000. I mean, obviously it's only a third, but definitely probably more closer to double than what we got. I mean, you and I talked about this several times, obviously, even before putting your name in the hat, the stress and the scrutiny that was going to come with it, and was it really worth it? Because we knew that, that there was a very low likely chance that you would win, and then kind of playing out
the slings and the arrows that came our way.
Well, and then seeing the who their hand picks were. Like, we knew what the plan was, and it was like, do we really want to put ourselves through this?
Well, I mean, we had to, just for the simple fact of they have to run an election. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Simple
for that fact. The same thing, went for Tim and, a couple of the other candidates, just to give, I mean, I think that, we can really be honest and say we had no real illusions of winning.
Right.
But we didn't want them to have a cakewalk either. We wanted them to have to at least get out and do something. And so I would just like to say, somebody said I'd be lucky to get 50 votes, but I got more than 5 times that amount. And that's less than 2 months of campaigning. And, funny thing was, I had 270 friends on Facebook, so I almost got as many votes as friends on Facebook.
I know that y'all hear a different side of Jared on here, and I know that, in the public eye, for those of you that don't live around here, y'all may think that he's very vocal, and then even the people that do live here locally, you may have heard any sort of like rumors or seen him speak out at city council. He's actually a really quiet, keep to himself kind of guy. I've actually been more portrayed as the nice person of the two, and I would say that that's not the case.
Oh, come on! You're saying you're not nice? You're very nice till provoked.
Well,
don't provoke you, right?
Yeah. So, anyways, let's just get right into it. So,
well, before we go, so I ran where there would be opposition,
correct.
And also I didn't specifically target Dana Henry to run against. I mean, I have the same problems with her that I have with all of them, so it wouldn't have mattered what district it was. This just happens to be where I live. Mm-hmm. I mean, she went along with cutting off the public comments. She's went along with letting Chris Seibert be a slumlord and do whatever he wants to.
Don't say that.
Oh, people hate that word, don't they?
Yeah.
So, if we don't say slumlord, person that takes advantage of disadvantaged folks, does that sound nicer than slumlord?
I mean, however, I don't think it's what the people, I just think it's what the quality of the house is.
There's that.
Yeah.
There's that. And then being able to intimidate them and being able to charge exorbitant rent. And,
wouldn't you have loved to run against him?
Oh, yeah. Quite frankly, yes. Because that would have been... Everybody would have got involved in that.
Before, we joked about, we should move into District 1.
Yeah.
By, and I think the cutoff was, in May or something. We're like...
I mean, let's talk about that for a second before we get into the actual numbers. Let's talk about what this actually took to run. It took that we knew they were going to come up with something, and they just came up with absolute lies. Like somebody used a looks to be a county system or state system to pull some records, and a fake Facebook profile posted all this on what's happening in Athens.
Let's just say this: there was more than 5 fake Facebook accounts used during this campaign. And those were to say stuff about you and to say things about Danny. And then,
I guess that goes to show you who they're scared of, though, right?
And then it goes, with Tim making the accusations that he was sign stealing.
But me and him sign stealing. Yeah.
I mean, Tim's a 67-year-old man.
Exactly.
It was kind of disgusting. I mean, he literally put out 4 signs. Again, he's 67. He's got, some health issues where it prevented him from being able to actually be out.
Yeah, because he was allergic in the summer, severe allergies. You thought I had it bad. He's got it even worse than me.
So he literally had, I think he even only paid to even have 5 signs made because he knew that the reality of winning was slim to none. He's met with Harold Wells several times. He's talked with Alan Creasy, who's always been very nice to him. And again, I think that I just want to use this platform as a way to say, we have, for lack of better terms, we have no beef with anyone. The beef is self-induced on their end. Do I have problems with the way that they have ran the city and some of their spending and some of that? But all of that...
Well, the shadiness of it. And that's all we're saying, the shadiness of it, as in this stuff should all be public knowledge, and it's not.
Or
that we're
silencing. If we are we're wrong for even questioning. It's how dare these people ask any questions? Our town is wonderful. Nobody's saying that the town's not wonderful. Nobody's saying that the events that go on in our city are not wonderful, but it is okay.
Yeah, they wanted to act like what? We're going to cancel Fridays after 5 or something, and what?
Yeah. So let's talk about the results, and then we can keep on discussing. So, again, there was zero surprise in how I thought how the election turned out. The only thing was I am very disappointed in our local people for not getting out to vote. Again, it did not turn it. There was no surprise at the results. So, out of roughly, I think it was 4,210 votes that were cast for mayor, Ronnie Marks won with 2,427. Danny Whitfield got 1,557, and then Mark Wilson got 238 votes. Significant percentage increase in mayor from last time. I think that.
You mean Ronnie Marks had competition last time?
Right. So let's talk about that. We can talk just for a quick second, and then we'll keep going. Ronnie Marks did. He ran against Russ Johnson last in 2020, 5 years ago. Russ Johnson made a promise that if he won, he only wanted to run one term. His wife worked at, I think, Julian Newman, and she was set to retire in 5 years. So it's kind of like they were going to retire at the same time if he had won. He ran a great campaign. Ronnie Marks got 1,900-ish votes. Russ Johnson got a little over 1,200. Brian Terry ran also. He got a little over 400. And then Mark Wilson ran again and got 150. So there were 4 candidates in 2020. And so there were a significant amount of more people that got out and vote, but also...
Based on the population numbers.
Based on the population, right. So... I did find that interesting, and this was another thing. Okay, so let me go through this. And
go through the numbers, and then we'll talk about
District 1, there was Chris Seibert was the only one he ran with no opposition. A lot of people, more than 10 people had a huge problem with it. His name was not even on the ballot. Now, I think that is standard. We looked it up.
We looked it up, and it's able to be either way by the city. Yeah. Now, we can say that they chose to do that.
Well, in 2020, I won't even say this has nothing to do with Chris Seibert. In 2020, they also did this. There was only one. The District 4 was the only one that had opposition. So the other ones that's not anything new. That is standard how Athens does it. But there was a lot of people that mentioned that they're man, I wanted to show up to and only vote for mayor and not even
Those
cast a vote.
undervotes.
Yeah, to see how few votes that he actually got. So then there is District 2, where it was Tim and Alan Creasy. Again, Tim did not run with any sort of intentions of winning.
I will say, of the newcomers, he has definitely been the nicest. He's been nothing but nice. You know what I mean?
Oh, Alan's always
that's what I'm
been,
saying.
yeah,
he went out of his way to be nice, to shake hands.
your hand,
and he's really the only one that's actually been nice.
Yeah.
So I will give him major credit for that.
And I respect having kids in the school system. Like, what he stands for is he wants to work with the schools, which I can respect that. I'm interested to see what his ideas are, but I like that he's even got an idea. He won by a landslide. It was like over 1,000 votes to 243. And so it's interesting. This is very interesting to me. So District 2 in 2020, they only had about like 860 votes cast in District 2.
Mm-hmm.
So there was 400 extra votes. This is where Danny lives. He lives in Canebrake, and then this is also where he goes to church. And for mayor, I think it was like 700 and something to 500 and something. So I don't know. From a presidential perspective, it's like if you don't take your home state, you shouldn't win, right? And so you just kind of are looking at. I took that as interesting to see those numbers.
I mean, it was disappointing. I mean, but at this point, we would have voted for a random dog on the street over Ronnie Marks.
Well, and I think that we can both agree that we are not shocked that Ronnie Marks won.
No,
I was shocked to.
I thought it would be closer. Okay, I can say that. I thought it would have been a lot closer. I thought he had a legit shot, quite frankly.
I did not.
And I was shocked that it wasn't even close. I was expecting close.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I thought it would be, if he won, that would have been okay.
Yeah.
But I didn't think it was going to be, I hate to use the word bloodbath, but it was not close.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, and like I say, I think that District 2, it was just interesting to me. I always thought that Ronnie was going to win. I never thought that Danny was going to win. Not to say that I do or don't like either one of them. I'm just saying that it's not a shock, but I was shocked to see the numbers in District 2. That is something that I was shocked to see. That there was that much more of an increase in votes from this time to last time. The rest of them were pretty standard, right? The rest of them were pretty even on numbers. But from
4 years ago, or 5 years ago now. I'm sorry.
So if you take that, the rest of them, like I said, were pretty standard for how 2020 went, except for District 2 was a huge. There was more, and give or take some in other areas. 100, a couple hundred,
mm-hmm.
100, 150 more or something. But this was like 400 more votes. It was a huge difference, and so I just found that very interesting that that's where he goes to church and where he lives, and he still lost so drastically. Like, if there was going to be a district that he was going to win, I would have put money on District 2 to win. Anyway, so then we get into District 3, which is where currently Mr. Lucas has the seat. And previously, he just took over that seat in 2022.
From the deceased Frank Travis.
Correct.
Who took over for the deceased Jimmy Gill.
Right.
So this is actually the first time that District 3 is getting to cast a ballot, since 26? No, they voted in 20.
They still voted for, like, Frank Travis, but yes.
That's what
Frank
I mean.
Travis took over when Jimmy Gill, after Jimmy Gill, and then there was still an election not long after that, but yes.
And then they're in a runoff.
Well, and where I was going with that is that Mr. Lucas is the longest running school board rep from 1995, and he stepped down from the school board in 2022 to take over on city council. And he said in 2022 he was not going to run again, that he had already done his service to the state, to the community, and that he wasn't going to run again, and then he's running again. And then there is Henry White, who has got a really good resume.
Yeah.
He was a superintendent. He was a state representative.
He's been on the city council before. And
then there is Kelly Dye, who, again, she's kind of like Tim. She literally has been traveling the last 2 months. She's not even been in the States. She left the end of July. She did not do much campaigning, and she's been very vocal within the county. And so it was kind of one of those things. She wanted to run to basically put her name out there, put herself out there, to where everything is not always asking questions, that she wants to have an opportunity as well. But she got like 60 votes ish. And then what were the totals for Mr. Lucas and Henry White?
It was like 270 to like 250 something. I mean, I think it was less than 20 votes between the two of them.
Yeah, I think it was less than 20 votes too.
Yep.
And so there's a runoff September 23rd. Between Mr. Lucas and Henry White. So that one is still
pending.
Still pending, right?
Ongoing, guys.
And then we get to District 4, Dana Henry and Jared. And like he said, there was a comment on the podcast that was like, he'll be lucky to get 50 votes. I mean, we've got that narrowed down to 3 people. We know out of the 3. We're pretty certain on who wrote that comment. But anyways, it was, I think she got like 600 and something. And then to your like 260-ish or something?
249.
Okay. So, again, I think I commend Jared for putting himself out there. It was a lot on our family.
Well, let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
Back to the fake Facebook profiles So they post all over Facebook, and it was straight up lies. It was straight misinformation, and quite frankly, it was either a city or county system that they cut off and chopped up and everything else to try to present fake information. And I guess they don't realize that fake Facebook profiles can be tracked down. So, I mean, at some point, it will all come out.
Well, let's just go ahead and dive into what they're saying.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
They tried to, and again, this goes back to like a city official's spouse trying to say, at least I've never been in trouble for non-payment of child support. Well,
neither have I.
Right. And so then there was people that was like, oh, well, there's court. And that was another thing that was like, if you don't stop, there's going to be stuff that comes out with court.
And what was it, like 2 days later?
Yeah, court documents with your name in them. Okay, so let's just dive into that a little bit.
All right.
You tell the story. Like, so you got...
It was old traffic tickets.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
This specific stuff about child support.
The child support. So you get divorced, there's an automatic child support order put in, whether you actually pay child support or not, depending on whatever agreement or whatever you work out with your ex-spouse. That is standard. Mm-hmm. But a funny thing was, they cut out where she was paying me child support.
No, let's even go deeper, because on the thing that the post that you're referencing, there was like 4 or 5 things about child support.
Mm-hmm.
So, insinuating that you had to go to court, this is the way that I take it. I'm playing devil's advocate with you. So, the way that it was trying to be portrayed was that you didn't pay child support for your kid, and you kept having to get taken back to court. So, you got divorced from your first wife, and you were court ordered to pay child support.
Yep.
And then what happened? So,
then
when
what
your
happened?
daughter was 9-ish.
Yep. Then I got full custody of her.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's just talk about that. You were literally in the military and had to discharge from the military to get custody because your ex-wife didn't want your daughter anymore. Right?
Yep, basically, yes.
So there was another court order. So at being the dad and loving your daughter, you're like, of course.
And she said the only stipulation she had, as long as I don't have to pay child support.
Right.
And I was like, okay, fine,
right.
No problem whatsoever.
So that was court. That was number 2 because
yes.
you're like, I'm going to make it legal if you don't want her.
Yeah, obviously.
So that's court document number 2.
Yep.
And then a couple years later, it was like 5 years later. Right?
Yeah, like 5 years.
She decided, you know what? I want my daughter back. And like the last couple years, she didn't even see Gabby.
No, not at all.
So then she comes back and says, hey, files that she wants custody back. So that's number 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then says that she wants custody back. Oh, and by the way, 5 years of back pay, right?
Even though she didn't have custody of
Even
it.
though she didn't have custody.
Kinda.
And you didn't charge her child support. So there was that, and then y'all had to go to court over that,
yep.
right?
And then, of course, she lost.
Yeah.
And she had to pay me
so then
5
she was
years worth.
Ordered,
yep.
So
but they cut that out.
So then there was 4. No, I'm not even done. So then after you and I got together, and Gabby was a senior in high school, she quit paying. And DHR or court ordered her again. Remember that?
Yes.
So that was actually 5 times that your name would have been mentioned in court documents. So what was posted is true, but what they were trying to portray...
Well, I'm saying it was cut off, too.
Yes.
It was so many entries, and they cut it off, and they didn't provide any information. I mean, it was a straight hit job. I mean, they were trying to portray it a certain way,
mm-hmm.
and they succeeded. Well, somewhat. I guess they really didn't, because I had so many... And thankfully, so many people I didn't even know just come out of the woodwork. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Many people, yeah. People actually sent it to me and was like, hey, this is being said on there. And several people that we didn't even know even jumped to Jared's defense. They did have someone that was like, oh, like, this is on Alicord or whatever. But then there was the other thing about, like, making you out to be a criminal.
Yep.
I think there was something that was involving me and something that happened in my past where Jared was there, but funny thing is, like, that was completely dismissed. What they were trying to allude to is not even true.
They said domestic violence.
Yeah.
I've been on the Mobile City Council and run out of town and all kind of stuff.
And
it's like, I've never even lived there, guys.
And these have been, like, public officials.
Yep.
I mean, this is going on, like, city and county side that
yep.
have said these things. That we've heard people.
We've been run out of our hometowns and just any and everything.
Well, thankfully, we go back into the whole of being private citizens now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was hard. You know, and the day that qualifying ended, I think within like 2 hours of qualifying ended, I got a text message from somebody saying that they had heard that Jared was running and starting to make small talk, and it was really interesting. It was almost like they were trying to get me to talk bad about the people on the ballot, and I was like, you know what, I wish everybody the best, and I genuinely mean that. Here's the thing, just because we disagree with the way that things are ran in the city, it's not a personal attack on somebody.
I mean, let's just go for a second. We don't agree with the Facebook comments being turned off. We don't agree with the live stream of the public comments being turned off. We obviously don't agree with Chris Seibert taking advantage of folks all over town, and all the city councilors going along with it.
Well, and
I mean,
my biggest thing that I have a problem with is that it's very blatantly obvious that they condemn properties that are in the benefit of the city
or certain
people. I have a problem with that. Again, that's not a personal attack on anybody.
It's just like, execute the law across the board.
Right.
Make it all equally and fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's it. I mean, we're not even, as we've said before in previous episodes, about his inappropriate relationship. It's not even the fact of it being an inappropriate relationship. It's because it's with a direct report. Yeah, and that he's tried to promote her and everything else, and it's like an open secret in front of everybody.
And we've said this, I don't care about your sex life. I really don't. What I have a problem with is that, and I don't care that you're cheating on your wife. What I have a problem with is that it's happening
on the city time and the city dime.
That's it. So that's how District 4 turned out. So then we get to District 5, which was Amy Golden and Jamie Elliott. I think Jamie got about 100 votes, 90 to 100. And then did Amy get like 200
and something? Yeah.
That is one of our that is the lowest voter turnout.
Mm-hmm.
I think there was like 150. There was less than 200 last time. So, and just to go back to the fake Facebooks, there are some Facebooks that go back to 20, even, and you'd almost argue that they're fake because they've been around since like 2019. Well, it is not far-fetched that fake Facebooks are a thing here in Athens. We have got a former Limestone County commissioner that was arrested and accused of creating fake Facebook accounts. The former chairman of the Limestone County Commission has been arrested on a misdemeanor charges of harassment and impersonation on Facebook.
Look at that.
This was in 2020. This was February 2020. This was an article on AL.com. Mark Yarborough was released from the Limestone County Jail on a $1,250 bail on Monday night. Efforts to reach him to comment were unsuccessful. If convicted, he could face up to 9 months in the county jail. Yarborough, who lost re-election bid in 2018, is accused of creating Facebook accounts under a fake identity and injuring the reputation of county officials, according to court records. The account was created with the name Randall Carson, who was purported to be a 37-year-old Social Security Administration employee living in Limestone County. It's unclear whether Randall Carson is the name of a person who fits that description of the name was created solely for the fake account. In his assumed false identity, Yarborough tried and did injure the reputation of elected officials in Limestone County. Investigator Caleb Durden wrote in a police report obtained by AL.com. Under Alabama law, a person can be charged with impersonation if he assumes a false identity and does an act in an assumed character with intent to gain an economic benefit for himself or another, to injure or to defraud another. So, Yarborough is also accused of harassing a woman, including by sending a menacing message, records show. The message, which was posted in a public comment, included a meme photo of Fred Sanford, a character on a TV show, Sanford and Son, carrying a gun and holding up a fist. The woman filed a police report with the Limestone County Sheriff's Office. Warrants were issued for Yarborough's arrest. He turned himself in the county jail. So, anyway, so this is not anything new that's going on here.
Well, I think, just 1 second, what happened to Mr. Johnson after he ran for mayor?
Oh, yeah. So in 2020, Russ Johnson, he ran a great campaign, and honestly, we didn't get to vote during that election. We didn't move here until October, but we watched the debate. And to me, hands down, Russ Johnson, phenomenal guy. There was a great, he won the debate hands down. And
it's still out there on YouTube if you want to see it.
Yeah, he's still out there. Feel free to go watch it. But in 2021, so the election was in the fall of 2020, the next summer, the next May, he was removed from the school board.
What?
They used the Alabama Attorney General opinion, which we know about that.
Yeah, we know all about
that. And based on a law that was passed in 2020, or in 2000.
2000.
To be able to to get rid of those at-large positions.
So they got rid of him and who else?
Basically his campaign manager, Mr. Green.
Of course.
And so they are able to do these things by design because it's how the system works. So it's like, oh, you came after me, so now I'm going to remove you from the school board. And Russ Johnson was a beloved member of the school board. People spoke out for him. it was devastating to our community.
I mean, didn't they even insinuate that he knew about Trey Holiday and all that stuff,
well,
too?
That was one of the things that we heard that was rumored, that they were going around saying that he was on the school board at the same time with Trey Holiday. But funny, Ronnie Marks went to Scotland with Trey Holiday right before he, like, just months before he was arrested.
And a council person's, husband was on the school board at that time, too.
Same time, too.
So a lot of intermixing, intertwingling.
And again, Athens being so small in comparison to, like, Huntsville. Huntsville's got over 200,000 people now. It's not far-fetched from back in the day when it was, like, really small that people served in, like, dual head positions. Like, it's not far-fetched to say that. But we've gotten to a point now where...
Well, they're gatekeeping on all these different organizations, committees and stuff within the city.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like you said, like, you put your name in the hat because, like, we've been very vocal about asking questions that they're still not answering. And then you have also put your application in on a board that had some vacancies. Miraculously, there's not. Like, they're literally not going to allow you on anything. They're not going to appoint you to any of these boards. If you go through them, husbands and wives serve on separate boards. There are close friends. We've actually done a public... Donors. We've done a public records request for several of the boards and who's on them. And one of them is like references, and the references are all people that are city affiliated. I guess it brings everything full circle.
Well, speaking of that, let's talk about some of the money.
Okay, yeah. Oh, what do we always say? Follow
the money, guys.
So we were looking at the donor list,
which again is all public knowledge.
Yeah, it's all public information. And there was some very interesting money coming out of Huntsville. Ronnie Marks got like a huge amount, like $5,000. And then all of his hand-picked people, Amy Golden, Dana Henry, James Lucas, Henry White. I think that they chose to give both of them because it's like, let's not
couldn't tell who's going to win. Too close.
Not that. Well, because it's James Lucas. Like, they don't want to say, hey, we're going to vote for one. We're going to choose one over the other. So Henry White, James Lucas, Alan Creasy, and Chris Seibert all got money. The rest, and Danny Whitfield even got $1,000. Funny thing though, Chris Seibert got $2,000. He didn't even have to run. He wasn't even opposed. He wasn't even on the ballot. And then there was a large, prominent family in the city that gave close to $10,000. And then there was some developers that gave money. It again, it's just something, not making any sort of accusations. Don't want anybody to, it's just an observation. It was just things that make you go, the math ain't mathin', right?
Yeah.
So we, election season is finally over. It was not even that the campaigning was hard. I think it was the scrutiny of what our family went through.
Exactly.
That's what was...
That's why a lot of people said they didn't want to run, because they knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's a shame. A lot of great people did not run because they were afraid of the very thing that happened to us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, Russ Johnson, we met with him, gosh, it's been a long time ago. And his wife said, you'll never do that again. I mean, he was talking about some of the stories that him and his family endured during that time. So thankful that is over and that we are back to being just private citizens. Hopefully the scrutiny and the hate towards our family ends, especially like the stuff with our kids. It got quite disgusting. I mean, there were days I broke down crying several times, just like, man, we are just private people who keep to ourselves, and we've got a family, and the things that we heard about, the rumors that we heard about our family were disgusting. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And I'm glad that, I'm proud of the way that you ran this campaign, the way you handled yourself. I, on the other hand, lost a lot of sleep, stressed a lot. And, you know.
Well, does that go back to the differences in men and women?
Maybe.
What you're talking about, the compartmentalized stuff and whatever?
I just want to be able to protect my kids. I want to keep my kids out of the public spotlight. And hopefully now that it's over. But yeah, so.
And like I say, this doesn't change anything, guys. Like, we're still here, we're still fighting, and we still have a whole bunch of questions. Mm-hmm. If anything, every day there's new questions. So I want to take this another opportunity to thank both the supporters that were vocal, the non-vocal supporters, just any and everybody that supported me and supported us. Yeah. And just know that we did it for you. We're going to keep doing it for you.
Doing it for
so
you.
The movement moves forward. So
thank you, everyone, and we're just getting started. So till next time, guys.
And that's a wrap for this episode of the Limestone Lowdown, where we break down the issues, keep you informed, and give you facts straight from the source. Remember, your voice matters. Your vote counts, and your community thrives when we stay engaged. Stay tuned. Stay informed, and stay involved. Until next time, keep questioning, keep advocating, and keep shaping the future of the Limestone area. We'll see you on the next Limestone Lowdown.